Hey, welcome. So this is another episode of Pancreatic Cancer, your Pancreatic Cancer channel. As you can see, I'm not doing this from my bed, which is where I usually do it. But this time we're under some good lighting here. Maybe it's a bit harsh, you think? Let's see if I can tone this down. Get it down here a little bit, maybe make a little bit of that. Maybe that's a little better. I don't know if it is. Okay, here we are. So the last episode I mentioned that I had that the chemotherapy didn't work and that I had cancer in my bones now. That it was located in one place, which is very close to my pancreas. And so this coming week, I go in and I sign papers to participate in this thing called, it's a clinical study on immunotherapy. It's called the Morpheus trial or something like that. And Morpheus pancreatic cancer is, I discovered, the name of the cancer that I have, which basically means you have pancreatic cancer, it's inoperable, and it's metastatic. So that's what I got. And so now I also have it in my spine at T12, which is right smack bumped up against my pancreas. So two things are going to happen. I got marked. They did these, see those things, little X's? And they're going to give me 5 treatments. It's like every other day, so it'll take about 2 weeks of radiation. And supposedly it has a high success rate. I'm hoping and praying and everything that is true, because the prognosis with kind of bone cancer run amok in the middle of your spine is very bad very quickly. So I hope not to have to go down that road. So there's that, and then I'm also I'm going to do that. They're going to schedule it, I guess, the next coming weeks, and then I'm also going to sign the paper, the consent forms for this Morpheus study clinical trial, which around 200 people are involved in it around the world, and they take I think it's like a 60-40 split. So 40% of the people that get in the study, when they spin the wheel, they get set up with chemotherapy. And then 60% of the people will get this immunotherapy, which is basically a thing to plug this in. Power to get your immune system to kind of hype itself up and jack itself up so that it can help your body naturally cure the cancer. So that, to me, in my mind, being the kind of like California, still a little bit old hippie kind of thinking that, it's always better to try to do it more naturally, even though obviously taking drugs is not necessarily natural, unless you're smoking marijuana. So that's where I'm at. And I wanted to show this part of my life, which is I make art. It's kind of like my thing. It's always been my thing. And so this is one of the places where I make art. I have a pretty big studio, and I have an area that's kind of a clean area where I make drawings, which is this. And then I have another place that is another part of the studio that is a little bit bigger and more kind of industrial and dirty, and I can make dirty art and spill on the floor and be crazy there. And then a wood shop where I could cut wood and stuff, and then a gallery space where I show other people's art and my art. But also, I'm going to show you this. I'm sorry that this is going to be a bit wobbly. I'm going to try to keep it as still as possible. But this studio also has this space here that will be a place where we're going to show art too. And hopefully I don't have to turn the lights on. But basically, it's down that dark hallway. And it's got all this wall space here. And it goes into this other portion of my art studio, which we'll go through here. Let's see, we'll open that up. So it's the door's locked. Anyway, so you can see that it's a big hallway, and there's a lot of wall space here. that will be hanging art, and that's going to be every second Friday in Alameda, California. And I'll put stuff out. So if you're somebody who watches me on YouTube, or a friend who found this channel, because I'm kind of did this for the cancer community. I didn't do it for my friends, although maybe I should share that with them. But I guess because in some ways I guess I didn't want to do that initially, because when I decided to do these videos, I kind of thought like, oh, this is really deeply personal. And if I do it as an anonymous person, then I can kind of be weak and show my fragility and everything as a human being, and be maybe a little more honest than if I feel like I'm talking to an audience that I know, where I feel like, I don't know, maybe I don't want to open up so much. Anyway, so look, here's the other part. So this is the studio. Look, see, got a little place where I paint. See there, paints. That's what they look like. Ta-da. There's a light setup, another light setup, and then of course, let's see if I can get it from this angle here. There you go. You can see all the way down. That's the art parlor, and I got crazy little stuff that I have that inspires me artistically. Here's a table where I'm doing stuff. Right now, I'm going to be doing some of these. These are little shelves that they go up against the wall, and you can hang a statue on there. I love this one. It's all carved wood, and it's got this cool cherub. They were actually raw wood, and so what I've done, or they had a lacquer, I sanded it off, and I'm going to gild these things with gold leaf. And so I'll put like this red kind of clay color paint is the first step. It's called bowl. And it's in a very old process that has been done for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years, a gilding. And so I put the bowl on there, and then on top of that, I'm going to put an adhesive, and then start adding gold leaf, and then burnish it into it until it gets to that beautiful gilded look. And that's to hang art here in my thing. I'm glad to do this one just because it's got the cherub. The figure is. Anything with a figure is awesome. So let's see. So here's the rest of the art studio, the art parlor. You can see the wall there. Got art from all over the world. Some art from my family. He's from Texas. My dad collected art. He was actually a really cool dude. And the funny thing is I didn't realize how spoiled I was, in the fact that we had we had art on our walls in our house. We didn't have cheapy, things bought at Target. It was like he bought original art. And it was like, wow. I didn't realize that most people didn't do that, but my dad did that anyway. So there's that piece. Here's some other pieces, which is from his art collection. This is this beautiful print. Let's see if I can get that. Oh, I can't get it in. You just see the computer there. That is the print, this thing where you see the reflection of my computer. It's of Mount Shasta. Sorry, there it is. Yeah, and then here's this cool watercolor of a tack that I think is the coolest thing on earth. And then that's a painting up there by an Austrian-German painter. He also did this other little painting I have. Anyway, that's it for the pancreatic cancer channel update. A little bit, got a little personal, showed you a little bit of myself other than me sitting in my bed. This is kind of what I do in between not having cancer, although I don't really turn that on and off. Anyway, I'll post some more updates. I did want to do some specialized things to talk about enzymes and a few other things that I kind of discovered as far as eating goes, especially with those enzymes. I've managed to figure out that it's all about little tiny meals and taking the enzymes and drinking gobs and gobs and gobs of water, because if not, all you do is you get sick. But if you do small meals and you do those enzymes, they actually do work. It's still not always pleasant as far as gastrointestinal behavior, but it can become more predictable. And that's a good thing, because when your GI and is unpredictable, it sucks, you know? So you don't want to have to be wearing diapers all the time or anything like that. But certainly, it's the only way to kind of get a control of the GI problem that comes with having pancreatic cancer that disturbs the stomach enzymes. Anyway, so maybe the next channel, the next episode, I'll do something that's a little more on point as far as like a very specific area that I've learned something like the enzymes, the diet, some cool tips as far as, I don't know, going to the doctor and having to deal with all that bullshit, parking and everything. Anybody who lives in a big city knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, I digress. I'm rambling. Happy New Year. This is it. This is the last episode of this year. I'll be back in 2019, and hopefully 2019 will be a lot better than this year was, because this year I found out that I had cancer, and every trip to the doctor was like really heavy news. And so I still think deep inside, although maybe I very quickly tried to adjust, but I'm still trying to make peace with this whole thing, and dealing with just aspects of the doctors and, the logistics of getting to all your appointments and stuff too. The whole spiritual thing about it, like loss, letting people know about loss. That's something that I got to do a video about, is definitely that whole communication dilemma when it comes to having a terminal illness. It really is a challenge on so many different levels. Anyway, Happy New Year, and let's hope 2019 can be better for everybody. All right. See you later.